Hello everybody, my name is Nana and today we are doing yet another Pokemon challenge. Today we are going to see if I can beat Pokemon Sapphire with just an Anorith. This should be a really fun run and a little different than what we've done since Anorith is not going to have a lot of type coverage. Anyways, let's go over some rules before we jump straight into the video. So first off is we can only use Anorith in battle. We are going to have to capture other Pokemon for TMs and HMs, but in battle only Anorith. Second up is no items in battle, so I can't use any paralyze heals or potions in battle. The only items I can use in battle are berries as well as something like the quickclaw. Outside of battle we can use potions or paralyze heals as much as we want. And the last one is no glitches. I want to play this game as was intended, so nothing game breaking. Alright, let's jump straight into the video. So first things first, I replaced Torchic with Anorith using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer and set off into my first battle against a Poochyena. Now the good thing about Anorith this early on is we actually know Scratch. Scratch is a pretty decent move, but we are going to get brick walled hard at the very first gym. At least until we learn the Water Gun, but that's not until into the 20s, so we're going to have to do a decent amount of grinding because I don't think Scratch is going to cut it. We ended up naming our Anorith Maki. I think because I was watching a show at the time and that was one of the main characters, but honestly I can't really remember. Usually I choose really random names that don't really make any sense, so it's nothing different this time. Anyways, we went into our first rival battle against Mudkip. Mudkip did not put up much of a fight, Scratch took him down with ease, and we moved on to a huge grind fest. I observed Wily catch a Ralts, beat up some trainers on the way, as well as tried my hand at the Rock Gym trainers. I didn't have water guns, so this was just not even close. I couldn't even beat level 8 Geodudes. I gave Roxanne a shot at level 19 when I finally learned water gun, and it went a lot smoother. We took out the first Geodude with no issues, but we weren't doing that much damage on the Nose Pass. The problem with Nose Pass is that he keeps reducing our speed while simultaneously healing. So it's really just a battle of attrition to see who could deal the most damage over the longest period of time. And well, we lost. I thought this would be an easy sweep with Water Gun, but I need to be a couple levels higher for this. I went around to the next area and beat every single trainer and wild Pokemon that I could find. Finally, at level 22, I tried Roxanne again. The first Geodude went down with one Water Gun. We all expected that. Last up was going to be the Nose Pass. We were already doing a decent amount of damage and he actually missed on his first turn, so we were looking pretty good. I decided to harden here a couple times just so that we wouldn't get taken down in 2 or 3 hits, and the battle of attrition continued. Roxanne kept healing and I kept pounding away with Water Gun. After exhausting all of Roxanne's healing items, we took the Nose Pass down for our first badge. I talked with Mr. Briny and made my way towards Dewford. Once in Dewford, I wanted to see how I stacked up against the trainers, so I immediately went and fought them. We did pretty well, but considering these are just trainers, I was surprised we weren't one-shotting, so I did a bit of grinding in the cave near Dewford until we finally had learned Metal Claw. I replaced Mudsport with it because that's pretty useless of a move. Anyways, we went and fought Brawly. I immediately started to harden because I thought Makuhita and Machop were going to put up much more of a fight. I decided to just use Metal Claw and this was an easy 2-shot. Makuhita was next and the same thing. Metal Claw completely carried us here. We were able to 2-shot the Makuhita without any healing items and to just get the second badge. That was surprisingly easy. I needed to grind a little bit, so I went and beat up some of Team Aqua. We're going to have to be a couple levels higher I think for this rival battle, but I'm going to give it a shot anyways just to see where we stack up. It's always good to know how many levels that you're actually going to have to level up before going into a fight. And we went straight into the rival fight. I was not able to one-shot the Shroomish with Metal Claw, so we were paralyzed, not looking good already. Water Gun did a ton of damage, and I just didn't have anything to deal with it, so we were down and out pretty quick. I grinded for a bit and came back at level 35. Much better run. We were able to one-shot the Shroomish with Metal Claw, and then just scratch the Marshtomp down a couple times. This was a long grind because we can only grind on electric Pokemon, and just getting paralyzed and poisoned is really annoying to run back to a healing center. Anyways, Numel was out next, an easy one-shot with Water Gun, so it was time for the third gym. Blocking our way to the gym was Wally, so we just scratched him one time and that was it. I always love beating up Wally. Next, we learned Ancient Power and replaced Harden with it. This is a really good move because we have a percentage chance to raise all of our stats. So special defense, defense, attack, special attack, speed. Very, very useful. I tried my hand at the electric gym, but it did not go very well. I got paralyzed pretty early on, as expected, thinking that we were going to do a decent amount of damage to the Magneton, but his Sonic Boom just did too much. While grinding to face off against the electric gym, I accidentally let Maki evolve. I broke the rules, so I had to revert back to one of my last saves, which was before even the rival battle, back on the beach. So I spared all of you, me going back and redoing all of it, so I just cut till I was at the electric gym again. I gave it another shot, and it went a little bit better this time. We still weren't doing a ton of damage, and we were getting paralyzed very early on, but Ancient Power was doing enough damage now, and we got the win. I taught Rock Smash to my Geodude and made my way up the gondola. I wanted to mention something. I've been thinking about doing like a Pokemon booster box and booster packs unboxing video, so let me know if you guys are interested in seeing that at all. I think it'd be a really fun thing to do. Anyways, we went off straight into our battle against Archie. I built up Fury Cutter just because I wanted to use a different move than just Ancient Power or Metal Claw, and then quickly switched to Metal Claw when Golbat came out. So we then used Ancient Power, actually got the stat boost in this fight, which was really cool, and one-shot the Sharpedo. I then made my way towards the fire gym. I completely steamrolled every single Pokemon trainer in this gym, so we just went straight to Flannery. I had high hopes for Flannery, but Water Gun just doesn't do that much damage, so I was mostly focusing on using Ancient Power and hopefully getting a stat boost. On the very first turn, we got a really lucky stat boost, and this was probably the only reason that we won. Even at level 46, Torkoal just does so much damage. Anyways, we hit the 2 Slugmas down, and last was Torkoal. Luckily with the stat boost, we were able to one-shot Torkoal, taking the Flame Badge. Next was going to be the normal one. I went straight into fighting Slacking. Luckily, we got a crit and a stat boost in the same turn. He healed, and then we got another crit. That was pretty ridiculous. Next up was the Vigoroth, and I just used 2 Metal Claws here to take Vigoroth down. Lastly was going to be the last Slacking. I used Ancient Power, got a second stat boost, and then just used Ancient Power for the win. That was really easy. I made my way towards the Weather Institute and just demolished every single trainer as well as the Aqua admin holding it hostage. Next up was another rival battle. I decided to go with a very simple formula with this one and just use Slash. It worked on the first Shroomish. Next up was Nummel. Nummel was an easy one-shot with Water Gun, so all we had left was Marshtomp. Marshtomp we got super lucky with and took him down to red health in the first hit, solidifying our win with just a second Slash. The next badge is probably going to be a little tough, but I think with the combination of Slash and Ancient Power, it should be doable. I grabbed the Devon Scope and made my way into the Flying type gym. I went straight to the leader as the trainers were very easy. First up was Swellow, an easy Ancient Power one-shot. We actually got a stat boost here, so it's already looking really good for us. Pelipper blocked our first Ancient Power, but couldn't handle a second. Skarmory was up next, and I only really had Water Gun to deal with him, and he made us miss multiple times with Sand Attack. So him and I went over and over just missing each other's attacks until I took him down with another Ancient Power. Altaria was next, and we were already in yellow health, so it's not looking good. Thankfully, Altaria just kept using Dragon Dance over and over again when she could have just probably one-shotted us and then healed a bunch, just solidifying our win with a Slash. We then had another rival battle, but this one exactly as you would expect. I completely dumpstered on May, so not much to say here. Next was Tate and Liza. This was actually a really easy run, mostly because, well, Ancient Power does a ton of damage, and we got a stat boost off of the very first turn. I had to bring in Geodude because this is a mandatory doubles battle, but I made sure he only used Defense Curl, so nothing that's going to impact any other Pokemon or the battle. We took down Lunatone easily. Solrock was the last one standing, but a Fury Cutter took him down to yellow, and one last Ancient Power got us the win. After the battle, I made my way towards Archie. This should be an easy fight, just like earlier, so I probably won't have much to say. Mightyena was taken down by a critical Ancient Power. Next up was Crobat. Crobat actually tanked a hit from Ancient Power and kept healing, but We just used Slash and Ancient Power over and over again until he went down. Last up was Sharpedo. Sharpedo also tanked a hit, got us down to yellow health, but couldn't take a second. Now that Archie is out of the way, we can go and put down Kyogre. Next up is the Ice Gym. The puzzle here is always really easy, but I like to fight the trainers anyways just for the experience. First out for Wallace was Luvdisc, who couldn't tank an Ancient Power. We luckily got a stat boost on the very first move, so that's going to come in handy. Celio also couldn't tank an Ancient Power, so he was down. Seaking was third, survived one slash, healed, took another slash, and then one more slash to take him out. Melodic was next, who's probably the scariest Pokemon that Wallace has. We got him down to yellow health, but we just kept hitting ourselves in confusion, so we tried again at a higher level. We got a lucky crit on Luvdisc, a one-shot on Celio while raising our stats thankfully, and next was Seaking. Seaking, I used Ancient Power on this time because we'd used a PP up. Next was Melodic, who we actually got down to red health. We almost one-shot Melodic. That would have been really handy, but we had to use a couple more Ancient Powers because Wallace kept healing and one more slash did the job. Last up was Whiscash. Whiscash almost went down in one hit to a slash, but another one and we had our final badge. I did a bunch of grinding on Victory Road and then made my way into the Elite Four. First up was Sydney with his Mightyena. I opted to just go with Ancient Power to hopefully get a stat boost early, and we luckily got on the first turn. Mightyena was down, next was Sharpedo. Sharpedo also went down to an Ancient Power, and we actually got a second stat boost. That was pretty crazy. I started building up Fury Cutter on Cacturne, and thankfully he did restore some health, so we actually got another hit of Fury Cutter in there to make it more powerful. We got Absol down, and when we made it to Shiftry, we flinched, then missed. He healed, and then we actually hit a second Fury Cutter through the double teams, getting us the win. The next Elite Four was going to be Phoebe with her Ghost type, and I thought this was going to be relatively easy. I wanted to see how much Fury Cutter would do, and it barely hurt Dusclops whatsoever. We also kept getting cursed immediately, so we were just losing no matter what. I tried this about 15 times before I finally caved and went to the move Tutor and Falibor, I think it's Falibor, and relearned Metal Claw. This should give us the edge, and we went back, completely swept through the very first Elite Four member. I didn't think that I should need to include the first Elite Four member again since we had just beaten him, but basically just me going back, completely dumpstering on him again, and then straight back into the Ghost Elite Four. We decided to use Ancient Power as well as a mixture of Metal Claw on Dusclops and Banette. Sableye was next. We got a lucky one-shot on Sableye. Usually he would survive that. And the rest of our team we actually did a really good job on, and luckily came out pretty much unscathed. We took a decent amount of damage from some Shadow Balls, but we were able to get a couple stat boosters as well as Dusclops healing out of potion range. The third Elite Four member was going to be Glacia. This was actually a very straight beeline win. We basically just used Ancient Power over and over again until we got the win. It was super effective against every single one, but we tried a mixture of different moves to see which one was going to be the most effective, and just landed on Ancient Power. Everyone was pretty much a one-shot. We got a super lucky crit on the Walrein there, and once the last Glalie came out, it was over. The last Elite Four member was going to be Drake. Drake actually gave us some issues in past runs. We had to try this a couple times, mostly because the Shelgon and Flygons, well, they kept using Dig or Protect to stall us out. We got a super lucky run and were able to take down the Flygon and the Shelgon relatively easy. Altaria was an easy one-shot with Ancient Power. Flygon held on from a Metal Claw and actually sand attacked us, but luckily I don't think we miss a move. Salamence was the last out, and it wasn't looking good for Drake. One more Ancient Power, and it was over. Time for the champion. First out for the champion was Skarmory. This was usually a really hard fought battle because I would get poisoned almost immediately by Skarmory, but we got a lucky crit and was able to take him down in one hit. Cradily was a two-shot, and Big Daddy Armaldo was next. He survived a Water Pulse, taking us down to red health. It wasn't looking good for us. Once Claydol was out, I knew it was over. We got Ancient Powered, and that was it. It was glaringly obvious that I wasn't a high enough level, so I came back just a couple levels higher, hoping for some better RNG. We were able to confuse Skarmory for a round, so he was down and we still had green health. Cradily was next. He tanked an Ancient Power, sending us down to yellow health. A second hit, and he was down. Big Daddy Armaldo came out, but we got a one-shot as well as a stat boost in the same turn. Claydol was next, and I was really hoping for some confusion luck on Claydol, but we were able just to two-shot him, so it's not bad, I'll take it. Metagross, our biggest roadblock, was next. We confused him, he hit himself, he missed, restored health, we took him down to 1 hit point where he full restored. He kept missing for some reason. This is the craziest RNG that I've seen. We were able to water pulse him down and he was done. Last was Aggron and he was 1 easy water pulse away and we had the win. Finally beating Pokemon Sapphire with only an Anorith. This was a ton of fun because I like Anorith. Pokemon like Kabuto, Kabutops, and Anorith I just really enjoy. I didn't think that I was going to be able to do this just with so little type coverage, but with Ancient Power pretty much carrying us through the entire thing, as well as Metal Claw, we finally were able to do it. 34 hours of fun, and it was a breeze. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any tips or anything that you want to see in a different game or with different Pokemon, then leave it down in the comments, and, I can do it. One other thing that I will say is I may not have the next video out on schedule, unfortunately. I'm going away for a couple days on vacation, so hopefully I can have a video out by Friday, but that might be stretching it a bit, so it might be a week away, something more like Monday or Tuesday. I'll do my best and I'll keep you guys updated. Anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day.